The best decision of my life was returning to Green Hill Sanctuary 3 days before the outbreak. An old classmate at the hardware store laughed at me back then. A college graduate coming back to be a farmer? He thought it was embarrassing. But who could have known? Who knew that 72 hours later, this broken farm everyone looked down on would become the only sanctuary for miles? What is even more unexpected? He would be kneeling at my gate begging for shelter. And Grandpa's Reaper, left to me by Arthur, would become the most reliable weapon in the apocalypse. It was early June. I stood at the Blue Mountain Town bus station with my suitcase. My phone showed the last message from HR. Severance pay has been deposited. Unemployed. This is the reality for Marcus. The farm is in a valley west of town. It is an 8 kilometers trek on a winding dirt road. No taxi wanted to go to such a remote place. I had to take a bumpy ride on a villager's tricycle. Dust flew everywhere. I covered my nose and mouth. The bitterness in my heart was worse than the dust on the road. Arthur passed away 3 months ago. He left me this 30-acre farm. He also left a message. If you can't survive in the city, come back. At that time, I was a product manager at a tech company. I made $15,000 a month. I thought I had a bright future, but the company suddenly collapsed. The entire department was fired. The farm gate was made of rusted iron. It creaks loudly as I push it open. The sight makes me gasp. Weeds are waist deep. The path is gone. The old house walls have deep cracks. The roof tiles are sparse and broken. I can see the beams inside. The barn is leaning over. Half the door is missing. The 30-acre field is abandoned. Last year's stubble is overgrown. The pond water is low. Black mud is exposed. It smells like rot. I put down my luggage. This is the estate I am inheriting. Mom calls. Are you there? How is Green Hill Sanctuary? It's fine, I lie. That's good. You must start planting before the season ends. There are only 10 days left. Either quit and go back to the city, or grit my teeth and stay. I should at least try once. I walk into the old house. Dust fills the air. I sneeze several times. Arthur's things are still here. His reading glasses are on the desk. Beside them is a thick diary. The first page says, March 15, 1990. It records 30 years of planting details. When to sow. When to fertilize. Rainfall levels. Harvest results. Every page is written so neatly. It's like an agricultural textbook. What shocked me most was a hand-drawn map inside. It marked every detail of Green Hill Sanctuary. Terrain surrounded by mountains on 3 sides. The path of the hidden aqueduct from West Mountain. Even the soil quality of every field was noted. It detailed the soil quality of every field. In the corner of the map, easy to defend, hard to attack. Arthur marked in red. The hidden aqueduct is key for defense. Water flow increases during summer storms. There is a wooden gate upstream. It can control the water flow. There is a narrow pass to the east. It can keep you safe in times of chaos. The last page of the diary. Dated 1 week before he died. Marcus. This land won't fail those who care for it. Check the wooden gate regularly. It can save your life in a crisis. A crisis? What kind of crisis? I shook my head. Next morning, I drove Arthur's East Red Iron horse. It's at least 20 years old. It blew thick black smoke when it started. The diesel engine was deafeningly loud. Everyone in town knows this tractor. They saw me driving it. I heard he couldn't make it in the city. A college student coming back to be a farmer. I drove past with no expression. I stopped at the farm supply store. The owner saw me. She smiled. Marcus. Buying seeds? They're cheap this year. Don't know why, but the provincial capital is being strict. How many do you need? 150 caddies per moo. Per 1,500 caddies total. That much? Can you handle it alone? I'll try. After buying the seeds, I bought compound fertilizer and pesticides. Along with the corn seeds and fertilizer, I got 20 liters of number 0 diesel. 25 kilograms. Per kilograms, 10L. I spent almost everything I had. I pushed the cart, preparing to leave. Marcus. A voice called from the hardware store. I turned around. I saw Skip, my high school classmate, leaning on the counter. He had a mocking smirk on his face. TSK, I knew it. I told you. What's the point of all that studying? You still ended up back here farming. If your grandpa knew you turned out like this, he would be turning in his grave. I ignored him and kept pushing the cart. Wait, another voice called out to me. It was Sarah from the vet station. She was in her 40s and very kind. She handed me a paper package. There are many snakes in the mountains. Mix this with water and spray it. Thanks, Sarah. She helped me a lot in the past. Let me know if you need anything. It was dusk when I returned to the farm. I sat alone on a stone bench eating noodles. I looked through Arthur's diary. Planting must be finished before the grain and ear season. Space the seedlings 20 centimeters apart. Plant 3 fingers deep. Fertilize in the morning while the dew is still wet. This helps absorption. Weeds must be pulled out by the roots. Otherwise, they will grow back. Looking at these detailed notes, I suddenly understood Arthur. He gave his whole life to this land. Every word was written with his lifeblood. 10 p.m. Something feels off tonight. Like a warning. Then, all the dogs stopped barking. This silence is bone-chilling. My phone vibrated. A message from my old roommate. A blurry video. It looked like a secret recording. The hospital entrance was crowded. Someone was twitching on the ground. People were screaming. I was about to ask what was wrong, but the video was deleted. What happened? I typed. He replied with one word. Run. Then, nothing else. Bad signal is normal in the mountains. I grabbed my flashlight and headed toward West Mountain in the dark, following the map's marks. I walked for 20 minutes. There was a giant tree surrounded by thick weeds. I cleared them with Grandpa's Reaper. It revealed a wooden gate. The gate was very old, but the structure was still intact. There was a rusty iron ring next to it. It must be for opening it. I tried to pull. It didn't budge. I took some photos and marked the location, though I didn't know its purpose yet. But Arthur was right. I returned to the old house. The moonlight outside was bright, shining over this land. I woke up early the next day. I was about to clear the rice fields, but as I stepped outside, it wasn't just one or two cars. I climbed onto the roof. I looked toward Blue Mountain Town. A long convoy was speeding down the highway, kicking up clouds of dust. Leading them were several SUVs, followed by many private cars. There were at least a dozen of them. They were driving fast and frantically, like they were running for their lives. My heart sank. Day 3 of the Walker outbreak. The town lost power and water. All communication was cut off. People stormed the supermarkets. They looted all the food. Shelves were knocked to the ground. Screams and cries echoed through the streets. I rode my bike to town for supplies, but every intersection was blocked by barricades. People held knives and clubs. Their eyes were full of hostility. My neighbor was greeting me with a smile yesterday. Today, they would kill for a few bags of grain. I gripped Grandpa's Reaper tightly. Back against the old house gate, Arthur left me. My palms are sweating. Only one thought remains. Who can I trust? Who will strike first? It is the morning of the 3rd day. I rode my vintage bike to get breakfast. Normally at this time, the market would be bustling with steam from the bun shop. The smell of pancakes would be in the air, and the sound of people bargaining. That was a normal morning. But today is deathly silent. The bun shop shutters are closed tight. The pancake stall is abandoned. Only stray cats are digging through the trash. I push my bike forward. Marcus. The voice startled me. It was Martha. Martha, go back. Get off the street. She didn't even look up. What exactly happened? The town hospital. Something happened last night. Dr. Silas and the others are gone. Her voice trembled. Those patients. The roar of engines came from the end of the street. A dozen cars with out-of-town plates sped into town, ignoring everyone. The lead SUV smashed through the gas station barrier. The driver jumped out. He dropped the fuel nozzle twice in panic. Other cars surrounded the shop. Doors swung open. People rushed in to loot water, noodles, and medicine. They grabbed everything. Shelves were knocked over. Glass shattered. Skip rushed out of the hardware store. What are you doing? This costs money. A middle-aged man pushed him. We're all going to die? Who cares about money? Just then, a man in hospital scrubs fell to the ground. His movements were unnatural. His upper body leaned forward. His arms hung limp, like a puppet being pulled up. He started walking with stiff steps. His feet dragged with a shuffling sound. Old Wong. Someone recognized him. The man in scrubs suddenly looked up. I saw his face clearly. His skin was grayish-white, like a corpse soaked in water for a long time. His eyes were open, but his pupils were dilated. There was no focus. The scariest part was his mouth. It was wide open. Shreds of meat were still hanging from his teeth. He suddenly sped up. He pounced on a woman nearby. He wasn't slow anymore. He bit down hard on her arm. He tore off a piece of flesh. A scream shattered the morning silence. Blood sprayed across the ground. It splashed on the walls and the faces of bystanders. The crowd panicked. They scattered. Some ran for their cars. Others hid in the shops. Some fled into the alleys. The bitten woman collapsed. The man in the hospital gown ignored the fleeing crowd. He knelt and continued tearing into her. Crunching sounds. Low growls came from his throat. It's happening right in front of me. My legs are shaking, but my logic tells me I must run. Skip. I rush into the hardware store. Wire mesh. Hammer. Skip is dazed. What are you saying? That thing outside is. No time to explain. I jump over the counter. I start stuffing things into bags. Wire mesh, shovels, hammers, nails, screwdrivers, wrenches. Take anything useful. Marcus, take me with you. Sarah runs in with a medical kit, her face pale. The town hospital has fallen. Crazed people are biting everyone. Dr. Silas was bitten, and then he started biting others. Get on the cart. I throw the gear on. Skip, are you coming? Skip looks at the chaos, then at us. Wait, let me grab some things. He runs to the back and grabs a box of tools and some machetes. The three of us push the cart and flee down the alley. Avoiding the main road was the right move. It's total chaos there. Screams, crashes, and beastly roars. All blending together. The path is narrow, barely wide enough for the cart. There are fields on both sides. No rice yet, just water. Suddenly, I remembered something. Skip, you can fix things, right? I'm taking them on a detour to West Mountain. Time is tight, but this must be done now. Under the old locust tree, I pointed at the wooden gate. Help me fix it. Hurry. Skip inspected it. The hinges are rusty and the wood is rotting, but the structure is fine. Give me 20 minutes. He's a professional. He reinforced the key parts with wire. He even patched the holes with wooden boards. What is this thing? Sarah asked. Something to save our lives, I replied. My grandfather left it for me. With the gate fixed, we continued our journey. Sarah spoke as we walked. From a medical standpoint, if it's a viral infection spread by bites, the incubation period must be short. Their symptoms look like rabies, but it hits too fast. Whatever it is, Skip said, carrying his tools. Survival is all that matters. Back at Greenhill Sanctuary, I immediately closed the gate. I reinforced it with wire mesh. This is our sanctuary now. I looked at them. The rules are simple. Work together and follow orders. Stay if you agree. Otherwise, you can leave now. Skip was the first to raise his hand. I'm in. It's crazy out there, and I don't want to be bitten. Sarah nodded. I'm a doctor. I'm needed everywhere. I brought a lot of medicine. It's for animals. But humans can use it in an emergency. First was Victor, a veteran. He was carrying his paralyzed mother on his back. He climbed the mountain path step by step. He knelt down when he saw us. Please, let us stay. I can work or stand guard. I'll do anything. Get up, I said, helping him up. We're all neighbors. We help when we can. Then came Lily, the teacher. She brought 3 students whose parents work out of town. They were hiding in the school. They ran out when they heard the commotion. Finally, Martha's family of 4 arrived. She was the one packing rice this morning. She brought rice, pickles, and cured meat. By sunset, there were 23 people at the sanctuary. I called a meeting in the courtyard. You've all seen the situation. Something happened in town. It's likely an infectious disease. We're safe for now, but we don't know how long it will last. What are those things? Someone asked. The walkers, I replied. Or the infected. The crowd began to panic. Quiet. Victor stepped forward. Panic won't solve anything. Marcus, what should we do? I unfolded Arthur's map. Greenhill Sanctuary is surrounded by mountains on 3 sides. There is only one road from the east. We need to build defenses and dig trenches on that road. Set up roadblocks. Also, West Mountain has the hidden aqueduct. We can flood it if needed. I'll handle the trenches, Victor said. I'll turn farm tools into weapons. Skip raised his hand. I'll prepare medical supplies, Sarah said. Lily the teacher spoke up. I'll handle the food. Martha patted her chest. The plan was set, and everyone got to work. Night fell. Flames rose from the town below. I didn't know who started the fire, or how many people were still alive. I stood at the highest point of the sanctuary, watching the flames. What was happening to the world outside? We had no idea, but one thing was clear. They were moving up the mountain road, closing in on my farm. The person leading the horde wore a torn lab coat. His face was pale and stiff. It was Dr. Silas, the man who used to bring us medicine. Our makeshift defenses looked fragile against the walker horde, like paper that could collapse at any moment. The survivors behind me looked at me. The elderly and children were filled with terror. They were waiting for my orders. But right now, I only had one question. We only have 23 people. Can we really hold them off? It's been 7 days. We thought we were safe hiding in the mountains. Every morning for the past week, at 5 a.m., I went down to the fields to plant rice. My feet sank deep into the mud. The icy chill shot from my soul straight to my head. Bending down to take a seedling, planting it every 20 centimeters. Bend again, plant again. The leaves cut countless tiny wounds into my palms. They stung sharply in the muddy water. But I had to finish all 15 acres. This was our only hope for survival. The others weren't idle either. Victor led a few of the men. They dug 3 trenches along the mountain path. Each was 2 meters deep and 3 meters wide. We tied sickles to bamboo poles to make spears. We sharpened the hoes. Sarah gathered herbs and brewed medicine. She also taught us basic first aid. Following Arthur's diary, we set up traps at 3 bends in the road. The first was piled high with rocks. The second was filled with sharpened bamboo spikes. The third was a pile of wood soaked in diesel. Everyone, move according to the plan. This is my first time facing death. Over 200 walkers, and there are only 23 of us. That number includes the elderly and children. Seniors and children, get to the 2nd floor. Victor started giving orders. Everyone, to your positions. The mountain path is very narrow. At its narrowest point, only 2 people can walk side by side. On both sides are 30-degree steep slopes. Below are rocks and thorns. This is our only advantage. The walker horde moves slowly but steadily. They are tireless and won't stop, like walking corpses. They are walking corpses. Dr. Silas is in the lead. His white coat has turned dark red. It is covered in bloodstains. His face has lost all human expression. His mouth is open, showing blackened teeth. First line of defense, the trench. The walkers in front fell right in. There was a heavy thudding sound. Light it up, I shouted. Skip lit the wood piles at the 2nd line of defense. Flames shot up with thick black smoke. The heat made the walkers move even slower. Some fell directly into the fire. They didn't scream, they just burned silently. But there were too many. The firewall was soon breached. My heart was racing. My palms were sweaty, making my grip on the Reaper slip. Marcus. They seemed to track by sound. Look, they are all moving toward our voices. Right. Their eyes are gray. They probably can't see. Everyone, stay quiet. Skip, get that loudspeaker you fixed. Skip ran back to the warehouse. Skip pulled out a large speaker modified from a car stereo. I connected my phone and played music. The moment the music started, the walkers stopped for a moment. Then they began moving toward the speaker. Throw the speaker off the cliff. Skip ran to the eastern cliff with the speaker. He threw it hard, and the music echoed through the valley. The walkers walked straight off the cliff, but the main group was still moving forward. They are only 200 meters from the Green Hill Sanctuary gate. My legs are shaking. I can't stop shaking. Fear is overwhelming me like a tide. I want to run and hide. I want to close my eyes and pretend this is a nightmare. If I made a mistake, everyone will die because of me. That thought almost broke me. Marcus. Skip grabbed my shoulder. Think of something. Right, Grandpa's sluice gate. Skip and I rushed to West Mountain. We ran 2 kilometers in less than 10 minutes. The gate we fixed a few days ago stood quietly under the old tree. Pull. We grabbed the iron rings with all our strength. The wooden gate creaked and slowly opened. The sound of rushing water followed. A week's worth of rainwater came crashing out. The water flowed along the channel, straight toward the 3rd defense line. That is the narrowest part of the mountain path. You never see this many stars in the city. You did well. I really wanted to run, but you didn't. Victor sat beside me. Fear is normal, he said. If my judgment had been wrong. Your grandpa's preparations saved us all. He patted my shoulder. Kid, in this world, surviving is winning. Across the river, the scattered walkers still wandered. I could see their silhouettes in the moonlight. Former doctors, teachers, farmers, and merchants. Now they are all soulless shells. Many are familiar faces. Dr. Silas, he just brought medicine to Green Hill Sanctuary last week. He promised to give everyone checkups. The butcher, who always gave me extra meat. So many others, they were all living souls. I wrote in Grandpa's diary. Day 7. We held our ground. Tomorrow, we keep living. Lily's wound is healing well. It was just a scratch from the rocks. But cracks within Green Hill Sanctuary are widening. 3 days after the horde, conflict broke out. Why does she get the same rations? Kane spoke up. He is 24. A young man from town. He pointed at Victor's mother. The old woman sat in her wheelchair. She was enjoying the sun. She is paralyzed and needs constant care. She can't do any work at all, yet she gets the same supplies. Is that fair? Several young men agreed. Exactly. We work ourselves to the bone, while they lie there and eat their fill. Victor's face turned red, and his knuckles cracked. What did you say? That's my mother. So what if she's your mother? Kane didn't back down. It's the apocalypse now. Before he could finish, Victor punched him in the face. Kane fell to the ground, his nose bleeding. Other young men surrounded them. Both sides faced off. Enough. We plant and weed until our backs break every day. A laborer said, we should get more rations. So teaching kids to read and count isn't important? Lily argued, without education, what will happen to the children? We need to study even more during the apocalypse. Otherwise, how are we different from beasts? Sarah joined the argument. My medical skills are priceless. But how do you measure that? By weight. Conflicts over daily habits were also brewing. Water is so precious. Yet you shower every day. How can we live without washing? You stink, the city people countered. Diesel must be saved. It's not for charging your phones. There is important data on these phones. It's the apocalypse. What good is data? I watch all this. My heart is heavy. The walkers are right outside. But we are already fighting inside. If we can't stay united, how can we survive? That night, I called the first roundtable meeting. We met in the barn. Everyone sat in a circle. A kerosene lamp was placed in the middle. I took out Arthur's ledger. I turned to the records from 1960. During the Great Famine of 1960, things were even harder than they are now. This farm supported 48 people. That is more people than we have now. The ledger is full of dense handwriting. It records every day's distribution. Literacy and teaching also earn merit points. I read the detailed records. Night watch, 4 points a day. Cooking and laundry, 3 points a day. Field labor, 5 points a day. Every job has value. Only the points are different. Victor was the first to stand up. My mother is paralyzed, he said. But she mended all your broken shoes. The old woman tremblingly held up straw shoes. I can still weave baskets and mats. Kane lowered his head. Martha stood up too. I run the canteen and vary the meals daily. I add lard to the vegetable soup. I cook the rice porridge until it's soft. I make sure everyone can at least eat. Does this count as a contribution? Sarah said, even if the results aren't immediate. I repair the tools. The teacher looked at Kane. I took a deep breath. Yesterday, when we faced the swarm, I was terrified of those 200 walkers. If I had made one wrong call, the fear would have suffocated me. But seeing your trust in me and your support kept me going. I didn't save everyone alone. Victor was the first to break the silence. We relied on everyone. I'm sorry, Kane said to Victor. Martha, I'm sorry too. Supplies were running out. I was just scared. I pulled out a new notebook. Starting today, we'll use a new distribution system. Agreed. Victor raised his hand. Martha raised her hand too. One by one, everyone raised their hands. After the meeting, I recorded the new work assignments. The farm team handles planting and weeding. The defense team handles patrols and fortifications. The logistics team handles meals and cleaning. The medical team handles herbs, treatment, and hygiene. The education team teaches the children to read and write. The maintenance team repairs and upgrades tools. The new system began the next day. Every morning, I recorded the previous day's merit points. Who planted how many seedlings? Who stood guard for how many hours? And how many children were taught? It was all recorded clearly. Gradually, the complaints faded. Everyone began to understand. In the apocalypse, everyone has their own value. Planting progressed quickly. We finished 15 acres in just half a month. I taught everyone the correct method. The seedlings must be planted straight. 3 fingers deep. Too shallow, and they float. Too deep, and they won't grow. Fertilize in the morning before the dew dries. Weeds must be pulled out by the roots. I remember Arthur saying, if you don't remove the roots, they will grow back with the spring breeze. We used traditional methods for pest control. We sprayed the fields with tobacco water and wood ash. It wasn't as effective as pesticides, but it was better than nothing. The fish pond also regained its life. We released the fry we brought with us. Though there weren't many, it felt like there was hope. We planted fast-growing vegetables in the garden. The bok choy can be harvested in just 20 days. Radishes take 45 days. Chives keep growing back after being harvested. A month later, the first batch of bok choy was ready. That night, everyone gathered in the courtyard. Martha made bok choy soup, though it was only seasoned with salt. It was the food we grew ourselves. It's delicious, Skip said after a big gulp. Better than any feast. Kane walked over to Victor with his bowl. Victor, I'm sorry about what happened before. Victor patted his shoulder. We're all family. Yes, family. Victor's mother looked at them kindly. In this world, we only have each other. Moonlight filled the courtyard, lighting up every face. Some were laughing, some were crying. Others drank their soup in silence. The tension wasn't completely gone. It might never fully disappear, but at least we learned to coexist. In this apocalypse, I wrote day 30 in my diary. We are still together. The rainy season arrived earlier than usual. It rained for 2 weeks straight. Then it became a massive downpour. It felt like the sky had cracked open. The mud walls of the old house began to peel, falling off chunk by chunk. The roof was leaking. The dripping sounded like drums. The worst part was, the flood we used to block the walkers had destroyed the mountain paths. It also clogged the drainage system. Water pooled in the low areas of Green Hill Sanctuary. It started as small puddles. Now it's flooding the rice fields. The new sprouts are submerged. In 2 days, the roots will rot. All 15 acres. That rice is our hope for survival. If it's all destroyed, we must find a way to drain it. Victor stood in the water. It was already up to his knees. Drain it where? Skip asked gloomily. The roads below are all destroyed. Even worse, the rain is causing landslides. Parts of West Mountain are already collapsing. If a mudslide happens, the whole sanctuary will be buried. I searched through Arthur's diary. I finally found an entry from 1975. July 1975. Aqueduct? What aqueduct? I kept searching and found a yellowed blueprint. It was carefully wrapped in plastic. It showed the farm's underground drainage system. A channel starts from the bottom of the fish pond. It passes under Green Hill Sanctuary. It leads to a mountain stream in the east. There are several branch channels too. So the farm has a complete underground drainage system. It was built in July 1975. I was excited. Why can't we use it? Sarah asked. July 1975. I looked at the date. It's been 50 years. It must be completely clogged. We must clear it within 72 hours. Otherwise, the rice fields will be destroyed, and the old house will collapse. We began a race against time. Step 1. Find the entrance to the aqueduct. According to the blueprint, it's at the bottom of the fish pond. But the pond is full of water and silt. We can't see the bottom. Drain the pond, I said. We have no pumps, so we have to use buckets. Everyone except the elderly and children joined the effort. The rain was still falling. As we bailed water out, the rain poured back in. This isn't working, Skip said. Rain is coming in faster than we can bail. Then build a shelter with plastic sheets. We built a simple roof over the fish pond. It blocked at least some of the rain. After bailing for a whole day, the water level dropped 1 meter. Black mud appeared at the bottom. It looks deep. I'm going down, I said. It's too dangerous, Victor warned. Someone has to go down. I took my first step into the mud. The mud immediately covered my calves. My second step went up to my thighs. The third step reached my waist. The sensation was hard to describe. Cold mud encased my lower body, like countless hands pulling me down. Every step took all my strength. One mistake, and I would be sucked in. I searched through the mud with my hands. My fingers touched something hard. Found it. It was a stone wellhead. 1 meter wide, the entrance to the hidden aqueduct. But the opening was completely blocked by mud. Victor handed me a shovel, and I began to dig. I cleared the mud shovel by shovel. The mud was foul and sticky. I piled it to the side as I dug. The others used buckets to haul the mud away. After digging for 2 hours, I was near exhaustion. Marcus, go up and rest, Lily said. We took turns working like this. Skip, Kane, and the other strong men. Each person lasted for 1 hour. Sarah prepared ginger soup on the bank. Those who came up wrapped in blankets and drank soup. It was to prevent hypothermia. By the second day, the entrance was finally clear. But this was only the beginning. After 50 years of silt, the entire aqueduct was blocked. We have to clear it section by section. The main channel near the mountain is the most dangerous. It could collapse at any moment. Anyone inside would be buried alive. I'll go, Victor volunteered. No, you need to look after your mother. I'm going. Don't argue. Skip grabbed a shovel to join. We can look out for each other. The three of us, wearing makeshift headlamps made from plastic bags, crawled into the hidden aqueduct. There was only the light from our headlamps. The tunnel was so low we had to hunch over. The water and mud were knee-deep. Dirt kept falling from the ceiling. Watch out. A loud crash echoed. A section of the aqueduct ahead collapsed. Dust filled the air. It made everyone cough uncontrollably. Back up. Get out. We scrambled out in a panic. It's too dangerous, Victor said. Just then, in the early hours of the third day, a car horn sounded through the heavy rain. Over a dozen survivors arrived through the storm. Their car had broken down at the foot of the mountain. They hiked up on foot, led by a policewoman. Jade stood there in her soaked police uniform. Please, take us in, she cried out. We have nowhere else to go. Over a dozen people were with her. Among them was a man in his 50s. He was wearing a water station uniform. I was torn inside. Taking them in meant even tighter resources. We would have to share our limited food. But seeing them shivering in the rain, everyone come inside. Jade almost cried as she thanked me. Surprisingly, Otis, the technician, took a look at our construction project. He immediately pointed out the problem. You're digging in the wrong place. The key nodes aren't there. You should start from the southeast corner. He carefully studied the drainage blueprints. This design is very clever. It uses the natural slope. If we clear a few key points, the water will drain out on its own. Under his guidance, we changed our strategy. We stopped dredging the entire line. We focused all our strength on the key nodes. Here and here. And finally here. He marked 3 spots. Clear these 3 places, and the whole system will work. Everyone split into 3 groups to work. The newcomers joined the labor as well. It was dirty and exhausting, but no one complained. By the third evening, the last node was cleared. The sound of rushing water echoed. The muddy flood began to flow. It drained through the hidden aqueduct to the ravine. It worked. The water is slowly receding. The rice fields are finally visible. Some stalks are flattened, but most of the crops survived. There is one more surprise, Otis said with a smile. He pointed to a freshly dug spot. Clear water gushed from the rock crevices. An underground spring. This is fresh water. It's drinkable. We gathered around it. We watched the clean water flow out. In this wasteland, it is more precious than gold. The rain stopped. Moonlight hit the wet Green Hill Sanctuary. I stood on the roof, watching the water recede. I saw the saved fields and the new spring. The land rewards those who treat it well. Arthur's words echoed in my mind. You were right, Arthur. The shortwave radio Jade brought changed everything. This is base 47. Do you copy? Replies came through the static. There were other survivor bases nearby. Everyone was struggling to survive. But the radio also invited trouble. Listen up, base 47. A rough voice came through the radio. I am Slade, the leader of the New Order territory. You have 2 choices. Either hand over half your supplies, or prepare to be wiped out. Jade's expression changed. It's a gang of local thugs from the county. They took over the granary during the chaos. At least 30 of them are armed. They have already raided several survivor camps. Green Hill Sanctuary fell silent. We can't just wait to die. Prepare the defenses. Victor immediately began making arrangements. Everyone was split into 3 groups. Group 1 is for frontline defense. Group 2 covers the flanks. Group 3 is the reserve. Skip began modifying weapons. He used scrap metal to make 720 spears. He removed the metal heads from the sickles. He tied them to bamboo poles. They were crude, but sharp enough. Skip said. Otis made a suggestion. Dig pits on the main path. Fill them with water and hide them with branches. They will fall in the moment they step on them. Good idea. Let's move. They dug over a dozen traps on the road to Green Hill Sanctuary. But the threat didn't end there. On the first night, flashlights flickered in the woods. They were testing us to see how we would react. 3 a.m. on the second day, a high-power radio began to broadcast. People of Base 47, listen up. Hand over your supplies and live. Resistance means death. It was incredibly loud. They used binoculars from the distant hills. Our every move was watched. We can't be this passive. Victor said we should strike first. No, I shook my head. Let them come. We have the home advantage. After a week of harassment, everyone was on edge. 24-hour watch shifts. Supplies were being used up faster. Food meant for 2 months would now only last for 1. They are draining us. Jade saw through their strategy. They want to break our will. The first real attack happened on a pitch-black night. Over 20 men attacked from 3 sides. 5 men on each flank to distract us. They tried to flank us by crossing the mountain. But they underestimated a farmer's wisdom. The first scream came from the side. Someone fell into a trap. Ambush. The chaos began. In the dark, they couldn't tell the path from the traps. The frontal assault hit trouble, too. The tripwires we set on the road sent the lead motorcycles crashing down. The riders hit the ground, unable to get up. Then came the logs. At Victor's command, pre-prepared logs rolled down the slope. They smashed into the enemy ranks. It wasn't fatal, but it caused enough panic. The battle lasted for 2 hours. They didn't expect us to be so well prepared. The first attack ended in a hasty retreat, but they didn't give up. For the next 2 weeks, the harassment escalated. They contaminated one of our water sources by throwing dead rats inside. Luckily, it was discovered in time. No one was poisoned. Then they tried to burn the mountain. But days of heavy rain kept the forest damp. The fire wouldn't start. They even dug up the road, trying to cut off our retreat. Ironically, this only strengthened our defense. The fiercest battle happened during the second assault. This time they were prepared. They even brought homemade explosives. A blast blew a hole in Greenhill Sanctuary's wall. Victor led the first squad to meet them. Close combat began. Spears against machetes. Farm tools against iron bars. I held the Reaper, facing a tattooed man. He swung his iron bar at me. I sidestepped the attack. I swung the Reaper at his knees. He fell, screaming in pain. I delivered a final blow. He stopped moving. This was my first kill. I had to protect my family. Kane's performance was unexpected. It turns out he used to be a thug. He knew their tactics. They're afraid of fire. He shouted. Burn their escape route. He led some youths to flank the enemy. They used diesel to torch the enemy vehicles. Flames rose as explosions rang out. The attackers panicked without a retreat. Their morale collapsed. The pincer attack broke them completely. The leader raised his hands. Don't kill me. Victor pointed his spear at him. If you return, you won't be so lucky. They fled in disgrace, leaving behind several bodies and weapons. The cost of this long battle was heavy. We need to rebuild. 2 were badly hurt. Sarah worked all night. She barely saved them from the brink of death. We used up a third of our reserves. Food, medicine, and diesel are almost gone. Everyone is traumatized. The children have nightmares. The adults are mentally exhausted. Was it worth it? Kane asked me. He fought bravely during the battle, but now his hands are still shaking. It was worth it, I said, looking at the wall. Because we protected our home. Greenhill Sanctuary is no longer just a shelter. It is our home. News spread that Base 47 defeated the New Order. We seized weapons, and other groups contacted us. Some are asking for help. We are famous now. I don't know if it's good or bad. It's good, I said. At least they know we're tough. We had a feast with the captured supplies. It was only a little extra meat, but everyone was happy. To the warriors. Martha raised her cup. To our home. Everyone cheered. The sanctuary was peaceful in the moonlight. The outer wall is damaged, but it will be fixed soon. We were injured, but we are still alive. We proved ourselves. The rice ears are heavy. Golden yellow covers the 15-acre field. Every grain was hard-earned. This year's harvest is good. I stood on the ridge, looking at the heavy stalks. Victor nodded beside me. We can get at least 8,000 caddies of grain. 8,000 caddies sounds like a lot, but for 50 people, it only lasts a few months. Still, in the apocalypse, it is a fortune. These past few months weren't easy. We hit a planthopper infestation during the heading stage. Those damn bugs. They covered the stalks, sucking the sap. The pesticides were long gone. We had to use traditional methods. We burned mugwort. The smoke drove the insects away. Thick smoke billowed. We splashed treatment into the field scoop by scoop. Our hands were swollen from the work. Luckily, we controlled the pests. But the grain-filling stage was even harder. Then a drought hit us. Rice needs plenty of water during the grain-filling stage. But it didn't rain at all, and our water supply dropped. It was only enough for the people and livestock. I decided to get water from the mountain stream. The stream was a kilometer away from the fields. We had to cross a steep hill. One load weighed 60 pounds. A round trip took an hour. Everyone took turns carrying the water. From morning till night, our shoulders were rubbed raw. We patched them with cloth and kept going. Our backs were so sore we couldn't stand straight. We'd rest, then get back to work. But the boars were the worst. Ripening rice smells the best. The wild boars followed the scent. One adult boar can ruin an entire acre. They don't just eat, they roll around in the fields. Victor taught us how to build traps. They were 3 meters deep with bamboo spikes. We dug over a dozen traps around the fields. We covered them with branches. We also beat gongs and drums at night. Boars are afraid of loud noises. They run as soon as they hear the gongs. We took turns on night watch. We banged them all night. Clang, clang. The sound echoed through the valley. It was like telling everyone that we are the guardians of these fields. I grabbed a handful of rice stalks. Tie them in bundles of 4. Arthur taught me this method. Now, I'm teaching you. Bend, cut, tie, and stack. Over and over. My back feels like it's breaking. My hands are covered in blisters. But no one complains. We are using Arthur's old pedal thresher. This antique is 50 years old. Step right here. I'll show you. Aim the stalks at the drum. Step on the pedal, and the grains rain down. It's like golden rain. The kids pick up the fallen stalks. Not a single grain is wasted. It's an old rule. Kids who glean get extra porridge. Drying the grain is even more critical. Freshly threshed grain has too much moisture. It must be dried before storage. We spread the grain out in the courtyard. Keep it under 5 centimeters thick. Turn it over every 2 hours. What if it rains? Lily asks, sounding worried. Everyone, get the bags ready. At the first sign of rain, bag it up immediately. Sure enough, on the third afternoon, dark clouds suddenly filled the sky. It's going to rain. Everyone move. Grab the brooms, baskets, and bags. We frantically gathered the grain. Someone slipped and fell into the pile, covered in golden grain. They got up and kept packing. The children used their small hands to scoop grain into bags. Not a single grain was wasted. Just as the last bag was packed, the rain poured down. We stood under the eaves, watching the rain wash the empty ground. Everyone laughed. That joy of survival is more precious than anything. Using Jade's radio, we contacted 3 other survivor camps. We have grain, I announced. I told them we were open for trade. Responses came quickly. This is base 23. We have medicine to trade for rice. This is base 35. We have batteries and tools. This is base 41. We have cloth and salt. We set the market at a neutral location, the abandoned Blue Mountain Primary Playground. Every Wednesday morning, each group sends representatives to trade. The rules are simple, no questions asked. Fair trade only. Violators will be punished by all. For the first trade, I carried 50 pounds of rice there. People were already waiting on the playground. Everyone was very cautious. Rice for antibiotics. 1 pound for 2 boxes. Rice for batteries. 5 pounds for 1 set. The trades went smoothly. Even in the apocalypse, everyone followed the rules. Perhaps in this broken world, trust is more precious than anything. Amidst the joy of the harvest, unexpected visitors arrived. A squad in camouflage appeared outside Greenhill Sanctuary. The leader was a captain. He was in his 40s with a steady gaze. We are a search and rescue team. He showed his identification. We are establishing a safe zone. We set up a temporary camp in the city. The military protects it. There are plenty of supplies. We are inviting you all to join us. Greenhill Sanctuary fell into a debate. Leaving meant safety, but it also meant abandoning this land. Staying meant facing more danger. But this was the home we built ourselves. Let's vote. 1 vote each. We held it at the drying field. We used corn kernels. Yellow meant leave. White meant stay. I didn't give my opinion. Honestly, I was conflicted. The safe zone would definitely be safer. But looking at this land, looking at the freshly harvested rice, and the home we built together, the results are in. This is our home. Victor said it's the same everywhere. The commander understood our choice. He said this place is better than some official bases. He left a military radio and basic medicine, and a brand new flag. You deserve this. Stay strong. The country won't forget you. Before he left, he told us, the outside world is rebuilding, but it is a difficult process. Self-sufficient places like this are actually safer. That night, a bonfire burned in the yard. The light shone on everyone's faces. Martha made rice wine with the new harvest. It wasn't strong, but it was mellow. Everyone got a small cup. Sarah's free-range chickens were finally served. They were made into poached chicken. The taste of the ginger sauce almost moved us to tears. Skip hammered scrap metal into drums. The kids danced as the adults clapped along, following the village traditions. I lead the offering to the earth god. Fresh rice and chicken are placed on the table. I light 3 sticks of incense. I bow deeply, thanking this land for sheltering us through the disaster. Thanking everyone for helping us survive until today. Everyone follows my lead and bows. In this apocalypse, we have learned the true meaning of gratitude. I stand on the stone bench where Arthur used to stand, watching all of this, and the granary full of rice. We didn't just build a physical fortress. Can you see it? Arthur, do you see it? Your Greenhill Sanctuary has become a Noah's Ark. The wind blows through the rice fields. It feels like Arthur is answering. I see it, my child. Early winter arrived very early. The temperature dropped 10 degrees overnight. Before the leaves could even finish falling, they were covered in a layer of white frost. Even worse, a flu outbreak began. First, a few children got fevers. Then it spread to the adults. The whole sanctuary felt like a hospital ward. Sarah made her diagnoses, but her herbal reserves were running out. The herbs for fevers were all gone, and there weren't enough loquat leaves for the coughs. Medicine has long been a luxury. The elderly were already weak. With this persistent fever, they could die at any moment. The town is 50 kilometers away. We have to cross the infested zones. The last group that went. I said I'll go. Count me in. Kane stood up. I know the route. I'll lead. 5 people and a repaired tractor. That was all the gear we had. Before we left, Martha handed me a bag of cakes. Eat these on the way. Lily handed over a cloth bundle. Inside were alcohol and bandages. In case. She didn't finish, but everyone understood. 4 a.m. The tractor's engine was loud on the silent mountain road. I drove while the others kept watch. Everyone held a weapon. Spears, machetes, and iron bars. The sight outside the mountains was chilling. The villages along the road were all abandoned. Doors and windows stood wide open. Car wrecks blocked the road everywhere. Stop. Something is moving ahead. It's walkers. Go around. I'll steer. The tractor jolted in the mud. It almost got stuck. Skip and Kane jumped down to push. Noon. The gas station store door was open. It was a mess. Shelves were overturned. Goods were scattered all over. There was a large bloodstain behind the counter. Victor pointed to the corner. Someone was huddled in the corner. We're not bad people. Jade showed her police ID, though it's useless in the apocalypse. The old man stared at us for a long time. Then he slowly stood up. Is anyone left at the county hospital? I asked urgently. Over 20 medical staff are still there. The hospital is surrounded. Uncle Clive decided to go with us. The town was more dangerous than expected. Hundreds of walkers roamed the streets. They wandered aimlessly, turning whenever they hit a wall. The hospital is in the city center. The Red Cross sign is still there, but it has faded. At least 300 of them. We need to make some noise. I'll lure them away. Kane suddenly spoke. It's too dangerous. I have a license. I'm a good rider. He pointed at a motorcycle. I'll distract them while you slip inside. There is no better way. Kane started the engine. The roar attracted the walkers. Come and get me. He sped down the main street. He hit parked cars with a metal rod. The loud noise echoed through the town. The walkers swarmed toward him like a tide. We entered the hospital through the side door. The scene inside was shocking. 20 staff were still working without power or water. They used alcohol lamps and rainwater to sterilize, doing everything they could to save survivors. Who are you? The head nurse looked at us in shock. We don't have much medicine left. A doctor smiled bitterly. Only 3 doses of antibiotics remain. 3 is enough. They gave us some basic supplies. Antibiotics, fever medicine, gauze, and alcohol. I'm coming with you. There were over 50 people in the building. As we left, Kane's motorcycle skidded at a corner. He fell, and the walkers pounced on him. We rushed over, but it was too late. Kane was bitten in the thigh. The wound was deep enough to see the bone. He was deathly pale. This is bad. Victor picked him up and ran. We ran desperately toward the tractor. Skip started the engine. Victor was still carrying Kane. Kane's blood stained Victor's back red. Apply pressure. Clive used a belt to tie a tourniquet around Kane's thigh. The bleeding stopped for now, but we all knew what this meant. Leave me. Shut up, I shouted. You're one of us. The tractor broke down halfway. We ran out of diesel. 20 kilometers left to go. We carry him, Victor said. We took turns carrying Kane, stumbling forward. It turned pitch black. We had to grope our way forward. Kane started to hallucinate. Don't talk. The last 3 kilometers. Kane had lost consciousness. His body was burning with fever. We didn't know if he would turn suddenly. We're back. Open the gate. The gates opened, and we rushed in. Surgery. There was no operating room. In the barn, with no surgical lights. No lights? Use flashlights. Kane bit down on a wooden stick. Clive's judgment was cold, but accurate. Disinfect the saw. The sound of bone being sawed. It turned everyone's faces pale. Kane fainted from the pain, waking up in pain, then fainting again. The surgery lasted 2 hours. Kane's left leg, amputated from the mid-thigh. Would he survive? It was up to fate. A miracle happened. Maybe the tourniquet was applied in time. Maybe the blood loss kept the virus from spreading. Kane survived, but he lost a leg. We lost half the medicine. Some of it was lost on the way. Only 1.5 doses left. Save the most critical first. Victor's mother used one. Her fever finally broke. The remaining half went to a child. The rest used herbs to endure. 2 elders didn't make it. We buried them on the hill behind Green Hill Sanctuary. That night, as the leader, I had to decide who received medicine first. It was a heavy responsibility. Spring finally arrived. The snow on the mountains melted. More importantly, is the infection source controlled? Really? Not yet. But the next piece of news was even more exciting. Survivor Base 47, Jiangnan Province. You have been included in the National Reconstruction System. Supplies will arrive within 3 days. Base 47. Early morning, 3 days later. A helicopter appeared over Green Hill Sanctuary. It dropped several large packages. Everyone rushed out, watching the parachutes slowly drift down. There was medicine, real antibiotics, fever reducers, and anti-inflammatories. New hoes, sickles, and shovels. There were also solar panels to charge the radio. Using the upgraded communication equipment, I joined the provincial survivor video conference. Leaders from dozens of bases appeared on the screen. Everyone had survived. Our terrorist defense system and merit point system were chosen as model cases to be promoted across the province. As the meeting ended, all bases were told to keep holding the line. Production is resuming, and reconstruction is underway. Victory will surely be ours. Spring plowing has begun. We are planting 25 mu this time. Besides rice, we've added wheat, corn, and soybeans. Clive used his medical knowledge to plan our nutrition. Skip led a team to build windmills. They used the valley wind to pump water for irrigation. No more manual carrying. Victor trained a security team. Jade is in charge of external communications. She calls other bases at scheduled times daily to exchange information. Green Hill Sanctuary is like a small society. Everyone has found their place. The most touching moment was the reunion after communications were restored. Mom. Martha burst into tears during the video call. Kane also found his girlfriend. She is working as a nurse at another base. Seeing that Kane had lost a leg. Wait for me. Wait until the lockdown is lifted. Victor received a message from his old comrades. Clear out the remaining walkers and protect everyone. Wait for our triumphant return. Jade contacted her colleagues in the city. The police station is still operational. You are our pride. Watching everyone connect with their families. Seeing Green Hill Sanctuary become like this. That afternoon, facing the sanctuary, I placed 3 items before the grave. A bowl of fresh rice, a cup of rice wine, and a bouquet of wildflowers. I began to speak. I'm back. This is now Base 47. We held our ground. Your diary was a huge help. That sluice gate saved us all. You were right. The wind blew, and the wildflowers swayed. I planted a peach sapling by the grave. Arthur loved peach blossoms most. Every spring, he would go to town to see them. Soon, the blossoms will bloom. I looked toward Green Hill Sanctuary. Kids played soccer on the new playground. Adults were busy in the fields, preparing for the new planting season. Elders sat under the tree playing chess, using stones as playing pieces. Power has been restored in some areas. It will take a long time to fully return to normal. Maybe years, maybe decades. But it's okay, we have land. We can grow food. We have a water source. We have each other for support. Most importantly, we have hope. I pick up my hoe. Heading to the fields, a new planting season is starting. This time, it's not just about survival. It's about truly living. For the future. Marcus. Skip shouts from a distance. Come and help. Coming. I walk over quickly. On this land where our ancestors toiled. Season after season. This is a farmer's destiny and our pride. No matter how the world changes. As long as there is land and seeds, life will continue. Just like this spring. After the coldest winter, it still arrives as promised. The story of Green Hill Sanctuary continues. Every sunrise and every sunset is writing a new chapter. And we are the heroes of this story.